Welcome to DancePod with Skånes Dansteater, a podcast brought to you by Sweden's largest independent dance institution. Your chance to hear from dance artists, engage with movement, and delve deeper into our creative process. Hello and welcome to today's live dance pod. My name's Kit Brown. I am a dancer here at Skånes Dansteater and I am the host tonight. Now, our guest today is Carl Knif, who is here directing and choreographing our new production, Aniara, which is a collaboration with Teatern. For those unfamiliar with Aniara, it's based on the epic poem by Swedish Nobel Prize winner Harry Martinson. The story follows the passengers of a spaceship called Aniara, who, after an accident, find themselves drifting helplessly into space. The poem explores themes of despair, existentialism, and humanity's fragile hope in the face of an indifferent universe. Teatern, our co-collaborators on this production, are a groundbreaking theatre company based here in Malmö. They're known for creating high-quality stage art with actors with intellectual disabilities. Their work challenges conventional theatre norms and creates inclusive performances that give space to often underrepresented voices. Carl Knif, who will be my guest, is a dancer, choreographer and artistic director and the founder of Carl Knif Company. Carl has created numerous choreographies for his company and has worked with theatres and dance houses on commissioned works and co-productions. In 2016, he was even awarded the State Prize for Performing Arts. So, welcome, Carl. Thank you for taking time to join me and talk about this production.
Thank you, Kit. Lovely to be here.
Great to have you, and great to have you back. You're actually, I think, our first repeat guest on the
podcast.
Wow. Yes.
I'm happy to be back, and it's great to be here back at Skånes.
And you're wearing the perfect T-shirt.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It's my favorite shirt.
Limited edition. So I'm going to be asking questions today, but there is also an opportunity for our listeners to ask questions if they want. You can write into whichever streaming platform you are using, I believe. So I'm going to just dive right in. You are taking on this epic poem by Harry Martinson, Aniara. What was it that first drew you into this poem, to this story?
Well, Aniara was a story that I had been carrying along with me for a long time. And I was first, my first acquaintance with the poem was through a video clip from a Swedish opera from the 60s, and there was dance also in that production, and something about that, about the combination of this very poetic poem, the text and the movement really resonated with me. And since at that time, I had in my mind that at some point I wanted to do my own version of Aniara. And when I got this commission, I thought that, well, this might be the moment. So, yes.
Nice. So Aniara was written in 1956, yes. I believe. And, that was some 70 years ago, nearly. How do you feel the story is relevant today? Why now? Why put it on now?
I think it's like it's so relevant that it's almost scary because somehow this ecological catastrophe that is portrayed in a very poetic way, but still it's so reminiscent of what we're experiencing at this moment. with the environment. So it's almost scary to think that that was written in the 50s. That someone had kind of taking that information and made art of it already then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think it's like hyper relevant somehow, and as I said, almost scary. But this kind of this texture of the poem, and kind of something about that poetic touch makes it bearable, because I think it's almost too concrete, or almost too that what we are kind of experiencing in the moment to even portray. So kind of the poetic texture makes it bearable.
Yeah, and so yeah, Aniara, it's sort of it involves people fleeing an Earth that's being destroyed by environmental catastrophe and possibly war as well. And I guess at the time of writing, the environmental movement was kind of a lot younger. It was very young, and Harry Martinson was very early in taking these themes into his work, and now we're slightly more advanced in that narrative. And it was also written during the Cold War, and there was a lot of this kind of fear involved as well, I think. So yeah, I can see what you're saying there. Yeah. So once you decided, Aniara, I want to do this, I want to do it now, I want to do it with these companies, then the long, complex process kicked off of adapting it for the stage and for this particular context. And so I guess that must have begun with having to write the script with Robin N. Spiegel, the playwright. What kind of initial conversations did you have to have about how you were going to adapt this?
Yes, it was a long process, and as you said, we started early on, and we had many discussions, also involving Pelle Öhlund, who is the artistic director of Mom's Theatre, because I didn't know the actors from before. It was the first time now meeting them when we started working on the piece. So I kind of needed the information that he could provide about who they are and what kind of actors they are, to make sure that the text would suit the needs of the production and them. So we had many meetings with Robin and Pelle and me, and I wanted to give Robin free hands, and that's what I always kind of give to the co-workers and the co-producers. So also I gave her I gave them free hands. But there were certain things that I needed to kind of make sure that I could work with the text, and that there was the kind of information that I wanted to kind of have in the piece, and how I could use the text also in the choreography, how it can have a certain rhythm, how it can have a certain form, and so on. So it was. Those were the kind of first discussions, and then when there was some text, then we read the text together and just kind of started to figure out the overall style, and the two main ideas were to have something from Harry Martinson's original language, the kind of his poetic touch, to have that in the text, but to kind of juxtapose that with something very concrete, and this kind of concrete scenes and dialogues between people. So these kind of two almost opposite ingredients. So I think then we landed there, and from there, Robin wrote the script, and then we made some adjustments, and that is what we have been working on. Yes.
Yes, and that's when it arrived to the studio, and we got to get involved, I guess.
Yeah.
And in terms of kind of faithfulness to the original, did you feel a sense that you had to honor and respect the original work in a certain way? Did you feel a freedom to make the changes you needed to make? How did that feel?
Yeah, that's a good question, because that's I've been working with many of these kind of classic big texts and also before, and I feel there's I love it because I feel it gives freedom, and I don't know, I think it has to do with that although in the Nordic countries not everyone has read Aniara, but still Aniara it's something that we have with us. We know it's about space. We know it's about people on this spaceship. So it immediately when we hear it, we get some kind of pictures in our heads, and that's, I think, something that with many of these kind of classical pieces of art. That gives some kind of freedom in a strange way, and so I feel always quite free working with these kinds of materials, and of course I want to honor the original piece of art, but I feel I do it by kind of giving my own view, or giving some different light on that topic, or that title, and that is the way I think I go about honoring the original material.
Breathing your own life into it in a way.
Yeah.
Were there particular kind of themes in the work that you decided to emphasize or de-emphasize? What do you call that?
Yeah. Yes. So we decided that we wanted to have the love story in the piece, to have something that would like balance all the hardship and sorrow and horror that the piece in all consists of, so to have some kind of balance. And also I was so happy when Robin started to write, because they had this kind of dry humor in the text, and that was something that when I read it, I was like, oh, this is what we really need to have in and it will be so great to work on that with the actors and with you, the dancers, as well. So yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the things I didn't quite expect. When I heard the summary of the story, I knew a bit about it, and so I was expecting us to be the working process to be very heavy, to be kind of dealing with these existential questions and a kind of bleak despair at the infinity of space and all this kind of thing. So I was kind of very surprised in a very welcome way when I realized there was so much humor in the text and in the way you were staging it as well. But so clearly that was a thought from the beginning, like something you really wanted.
Yes. It's and that's something like humor is very difficult. So it's hard to kind of to decide that we're going to do something funny, but I thought I so enjoyed when I saw that there was the potential for humor in the text, and now I see it also in our performance. So I'm really happy about that, because that's so important for I think the whole story, and for the production to have that little glimpse of light or something.
Yeah, there's some hope in the
There's
in the
some
plot
hope,
as well.
and there's some hope, and there's also some hope and something funny in absurd things, and we live in absurd times. Yes.
Yes, that's for sure. Now the text is only one part of the way that you are telling this story. Robin is only one of your collaborators. There's many plates you're spinning. For example, you have doing the sound design, you have Ville Lepelati doing the set and lighting design, you have Jukka Huitila, and doing the costume design, you have Carolina Koiso-Kantila. Did I say their names kind of okay? Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
So with all these different elements, and you said that you like to give people a kind of free space to contribute what they're going to contribute, but was there an initial brief that you had to give to each of these collaborators about the kind of direction you wanted to go, or like
Yes. So Carolina and Jukka, with them I've been working for over 10 years. So they've designed almost all my my productions, and Ville is new to me. So this is the first time we're working on something from scratch. But the way we start is by discussing. We create this kind of mood boards and Pinterest boards. We collect different pictures. And then with the sound, we create playlists with reference music, pieces of music that have a kind of atmosphere or carries a specific feeling or instrumentation or anything that might be relevant for the project. And then we I give free hands, but there's some things that maybe sentences or ideas, some like big ideas and sentences that we kind of that we can kind of have as some general idea, and then each designer can create something out from that. And in this production, I for the visuals, for the set design, and for the videos and projections and the lighting, we knew I knew or Jukka wanted to work with these materials, but then I said that it has to be human size. So there has to be this kind of something that's kind of organic or human in all of that. So it can't be too sterile or too clinical. Whatever brings that organic feeling or that humanity to the. So that is very important. And with Carolina, we started to think about all the different characters and all the different places that the story takes place in. So we start from Earth, and with the people fleeing Earth, and our reference material, the pictures were from real life refugees and real people fleeing, and then we had the idea of something that's the total opposite, this really futuristic, minimalistic space, non-organic space environment, and what that would look like. And that's the kind of the ship Aniara, the spaceship, and the people, the crew, and then the people who come into that environment, they carry their humanity with them, but they collide with this clinical non-human world. And then there's this level of something unexpected or something mysterious, something that the human mind can't grasp, and that in this production is Miman. He's a very specific character, non-human, not an animal, not a plant, but something in between. Maybe a machine, not really a machine, not a computer. So there's these three different levels that we started elaborating with. Yes.
So you touched on Mima there.
Yeah.
Miman. And yeah, Mima is this entity that shows the passengers in their despair or in their missing of home, shows them these kind of visions, sensations from their home planet, and can kind of calm people down and soothe them. And I find it's very interesting in terms of the design, the way you decided to go with that character who, yeah, in some cases is sometimes, when you read things about Aniara, is described as a machine. But you've chosen something more organic, something that's more like a creature with wings. So it's very interesting to see how you've done that. I'm very interested in, you mentioned these kind of mood boards and playlists. What kind of things featured on the playlist?
Oh yes. So actually, in this production, it wasn't a very long playlist. Usually, there might be like really different kinds of music on that playlist. Now we had, I think, I don't remember actually the titles or even the composers, but we had a lot of kind of electroacoustic French music, I believe, yes, and where there was a lot of different rhythms and drums and percussion, but also something electronic or something contemporary, and quite strong harmonies, quite emotional music. And with that said, those reference tracks, they don't they carry kind of the music bit, and that and they give like the kind of the inspiration for the music parts of the production. But then there's a lot of sound design in between that comes purely from Ville. By being in the studio and working as we are creating the scenes. So there's also a lot of material that is.
Yeah, because Ville's been present with us the entire time in the studio, making as we're making as well. Great. Were there a lot of sci-fi references, I'm wondering? Because it is a science fiction piece in a way.
Yes, there were. It's I have to say that I'm not actually not a huge fan of sci-fi, but I'm a fan in that sense that I really enjoy the aesthetics of sci-fi, and I love the aesthetics of a lot of the big sci-fi movies. And I enjoy the fact that often sci-fi deals with these big questions that we humans carry and ask, and in a entertaining way they deal with those topics, and I think they are important topics, and they are hard to kind of grasp and to portray. So I think sci-fi sci-fi movies and literature does a great deal to keep that relevant, those questions relevant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can kind of put a question in a different context or take it to an extreme in a very profound way. What kind of questions do you think Aniara is asking us?
For me, Aniara, the biggest question is how perhaps how we deal with the fact that our life will end at some point, and how we live with that realization, and what we do about it. So how we cope with that thought. And actually in Aniara we see all of those different kinds of methods to cope with that reality. And also how that thought, that human thought, how it echoes into eternity, and how it echoes towards that we don't know where ends. So there's a big space around this question, and we don't know the answer where it ends, where time ends. So our small time compared to the eternity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are these kind of big, not binaries, but sort of oppositions in the thing. There's this huge vastness of space and the smallness of the people. There's like, these almost religious, ritualistic approaches to coping with the problem, and then more hedonistic and scientific ones as well. You can see the whole range of human behaviors in this piece.
Yeah. So even though we know we are gonna die, we still fall in love. We still create things. We have our beliefs. We change beliefs. We invent things. That's beautiful.
We make art.
Yeah, we make art.
I never thought my job was an answer to that question, but maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
So, sort of back from the grandeur of that to the nitty-gritty. This is a collaboration between a theatre company and a dance company. You are playing kind of the two roles of choreographer and director. I'm interested to know, do you feel like they're two different hats for you, that sometimes you're working on theatre, sometimes you're working on dance? Or do they feel similar? And then how have you approached bringing together people from two very different, two kind of similar but different disciplines and different backgrounds together?
Yes, so strangely, it's I feel I'm only wearing one hat. So I'm always a choreographer, even when working with actors, and no matter who I work with, I'm always a dancer and choreographer, and I feel that all my knowledge is rooted in my experiences as a dancer and a choreographer. And then, of course, with time, the methods have evolved. So by working with other people from other backgrounds, I now today have different methods of working, but not so different. They still are this kind of the same methods that I use when working with strictly dancers and non-verbal. But yes, they have evolved. But I'm always a choreographer.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, so we've been working all together with your method. It's been a great, we've started every day doing a warm-up all together with the actors and the dancers. In this method, you work with kind of breath, gaze, and space. Could you describe a little bit what this practice is? That
Yes, that's kind of the basis of the work that I do. So that's kind of a method that I've firstly created for myself when I was a dancer starting to create my choreograph my own work. So I needed some tools to kind of figure out what my movement consists of, and what I need to perform or execute those movements. So the basic things are breath. So we're all breathing, and we can breathe in different ways, and that will create a different kind of movement and or a different kind of expression. And the breathing calms us down. We get in contact with our body. We get aware of our own body. We get physical because breath is physical. And then we get in contact with our inner space, what's inside of our body, but also what's inside of our mind. And from that space, we can come out to the outer space. We can see each other through the eyes, through the gaze. By connecting the breath to the gaze, we can see each other, and then we can also sense the space, also what's behind us or far at the sides, and then we can be more alert and more sensitive towards each other or towards the material that we are working on. So that's kind of the basic thing. And when we all as we do this in the warm-up, and we go about learning about our own movement and each other's movements, then that's something that we carry with us when we work on the specific scenes. So we can kind of relate to the breath, a certain kind of breath or a certain kind of dynamic that breath creates, or to the ways to use our gaze and our eyes, and so yes, that's something that I have felt that is a good starting point for any production that I work on.
And then it's also interesting to see how this translates into the performance and onto the stage, because the way that we are acting or playing or dancing, whatever, it's not naturalistic. There's a real clarity and rhythm to it. Could you talk a little bit about what your approach is to how you're directing us to act, like what it is you're kind of going for there?
Yes. So because I'm a dancer and a choreographer, I believe that I approach acting and characters and dialogue through movement and rhythm and positioning and distances and things that are really choreographic in a sense, and also I don't have the skills to kind of work with characters from kind of psychological ground or kind of go through that. So that I always hope that will come through. The characters will come to life when the actors and the dancers, they do certain things. Then the characters will start to appear from the communication and from the positioning, from the rhythm, from the movement, and they will grow into characters from there. So that's kind of the way I go about creating or directing. So that's what I can give, and then of course when I see something appearing, then I can kind of like emphasize that, or tone that down, or make that bigger, or make that movement clearer, or make that emotion bigger or smaller, or so like that. Yeah.
Sounds like conducting.
Yeah, a
You're
little
kind
bit.
of
Yes, a little bit.
making the
Yeah.
things.
It's really like, and I also feel that kind of it's the text for me is music. So because again, because I'm a choreographer, so the way I approach text is also through rhythm, and as it would be music. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's in. I mean, it's funny the way you're framing this, like you're choreographing, conducting, the acting, and the text is music, because so often text is something people, I might say, relate to easier than dance, in some instances, and it can often dominate, particularly in contexts where there's a narrative. How do you see the role of dance in this production? And there are sections of just dancing without text, for example. How do you see the role of the dance? What's it carrying through the production for you?
That's a really good question. I feel that I also believe that text words are, well, it's the way we communicate. That's how we can communicate as humans. So it's easier to kind of to understand words than movement, and that when I started to use text in my dance pieces, it was from a need for myself to kind of communicate more directly with an audience, to be able to kind of touch certain topics in a more direct way. So that was the that wish or need that made me turn to text, and then when I had done that, my first dance pieces with including text, then I wanted to work with text that I hadn't written myself, and that's when I started to kind of look towards plays and theater, and that's when I started to collaborate with actors, and also to do these kind of collaborations between dancers and actors. In this piece in Aniara, I think because Skånes Dansteater is a dance company, and you are beautiful dancers, I wanted to have a lot of dancing as well. And I wanted, in this piece, I wanted everyone to do everything. I wanted the dancers to act and the actors to dance. I wanted everyone to kind of meet halfway somewhere, and everyone to meet outside their own comfort zones, because that's something I believe in. I think that creates some kind of extra sensitivity in the performance, and in the way people work in the process. So so there's both acting and dancing, but it's a choreography. I always see the pieces I make as choreography.
Yeah, this thing of us all having to step out of our comfort zones. I do think it sort of brought the group together, because we're also having to speak Swedish, which is not any of our first or second or some third language. And so, the actors are having to jump into dancing, and we're kind of trying to help them out with that. And then we're having to jump into acting and speaking Swedish, and they're sort of correcting us and giving help.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts everyone on this very equal footing
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. And I think that's so important, in this kind of production where disabled and non-disabled performers meet to really meet on common ground, and to kind of everyone has their own strengths, and then the other thing we work on together. Yeah,
Absolutely.
So,
That's a great approach. I mean, I've been very curious about your way of leading us, and the atmosphere you build. You are incredibly calm. And everyone has remarked on it. You are so incredibly calm, and we do what needs to be done, and we push forward, and it's fantastic. Like, it's been a very sort of stress-free production for us. I don't know about you. For us, for sure. For all the performers. Is this just your natural sensibility? Is it something you've cultivated? Something you have chosen to do for this production? Or
I haven't chosen to do so. It's maybe it's the breathing and gazing, and I don't know, but that's one thing that it's also important for me to kind of calm myself down and really find that sensitive place in myself when I work, to be able to work efficiently and being alert and seeing things, important things happening, and being able to kind of emphasize those things. So it's like maybe it might be a strategy, but it's not something. It's something I try to do every time. And of course I'm stressed. It's a stressful thing, creating something and leading kind of a group, but in a good way, because I'm always stressed in somehow in will I kind of be clear enough to kind of everyone kind of seeing or understanding the vision or the idea, or am I losing is someone not? Am I not clear enough? Am I losing someone? That's the things I'm stressed about, and of course I'm stressed. I want it to be good. I want the piece to be as good as it can be. But so I have those, of course, those normal stress things and feelings, but I really believe in stress won't it's just an effect of something. It won't create anything. So I try to remember that it's things will happen when they happen, and there's nothing I can no matter how much I stress, I can't stress anything to happen.
That's maybe I should write that on my wall. I can't stress anything to happen. No, because I think I was reflecting, because I've not worked in the kind of scale that you have, but whenever I've led things or choreographed things, I find myself in this place of kind of frantic, manic energy, somewhere between excitement and nervousness, and I've just been very impressed with how you kind of managed to contain that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's true. It's like just trusting the process and kind of doing what needs to be done.
Yes, and also I for me it's like I'm so grateful that I get to do this work, that I get to enjoy so many things, because I really try to remember to, and I am many times like seeing something occur, seeing someone doing something so nicely or so like in their own way and really like blossoming. So those are like incredible things, and I try really to enjoy those moments and take happiness out of that, and that's also something that relieves stress. So yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah. And we return to the gaze then.
Yes.
So we've had
Yeah.
breath and gaze, space. Yes,
Yeah.
seeing in the space.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of open the floor in case anyone has any questions. Just to remind you that you can write on our streaming services. Otherwise, I will keep going. Someone is going to give me a nice wave if anything comes up. So I was just wondering if we could go back before. And I'd like to talk about your first meeting with dance. So before Aniara, before all of this,
Okay.
what was your first? What first drew you to becoming a dancer? When did you first start to discover this?
Well, I've been told that I've always moved and danced. So before I could speak, when I could move, then I started to kind of react with movement to sounds and music and things. So that's what I've been told. And as a child, then when my parents realized this, they back in Vasa, it's a small town in Finland where I'm from. There was a ballet school founded in the early 80s, and they brought me there. They thought that maybe ballet and dancing would be a good hobby or a good thing, and it was. I enjoyed it, and there was something with the routine and also of course with the dancing and the music and the kind of fairy tale worlds and something with that resonated really deeply with me. And I then later in the as a teenager, I started going to contemporary classes and jazz ballet, and then in the contemporary classes there was improvisation, and that was like a really big deal for me. That's kind of, I think, why I still do this work today, is that it had to do with me being able to express something in a social environment that I couldn't express in other places. And of course, I didn't know I can put words to that today. I didn't realize back then that it was that. But I think that is why I kept on dancing, that I could be truly who I am in a way that I felt that I couldn't be anywhere else. And I continued dancing, and then I dreamt of it being my occupation, but I didn't know of any. I knew there were like the opera ballet and you could be a ballet dancer, but I didn't know that you could be a contemporary dancer. So then for a while I kind of forgot about the dream of dancing, and I started to dream of being an visual artist. But then that kind of the feeling of dance after I finished school, I then applied. I thought that because I knew some people that were applying to the theater academy, they had there's a education for contemporary dancers there. So then I applied and I got in. So then I started to study dance, and while doing that, then the whole kind of professional world of being a dancer opened to me, and I started to want it. It became more concrete, and I started to want that, step into that world. And then I've been working for. I worked since I graduated. I worked for several years with different Finnish choreographers. Then for a long time, almost 10 years with Tero Saarinen Company. And then while working with Tero, I started to feel the need of creating my own work. And then after dancing many years, I thought that now I'm gonna do a switch over. I'm gonna focus on my own work, and I made that leap, and that's where I'm now.
Carl Knif Company was born.
Yes, yes.
2012,
Yeah.
and this kind of transition into working with text and writing and theatre, did it happen very early on in your creations, or was it immediate? Did
No.
it take some time?
Yeah, it wasn't immediate. That the kind of the background that I came from was, I would say, in a way quite abstract. So I was the first pieces that I made were kind of really movement based, and there was no narrative or text in any ways. But then after working a few years, I felt this strong need to kind of look into myself and kind of reflect over my journey, what I've been through, and how I've become who I am, how I'm now able to kind of be in all different places, in all different social constructions. I can be myself. And in order to be able to talk about that, I needed texts. So then in 2014, I created the solo Red. And that was the first piece where I wrote the texts myself, and I also spoke on stage. And I feel that I'm on that same journey. So that was the kind of the turning point, and that made me go towards text. That made me kind of go towards theater, from moving from those like self-lived experiences to kind of portray or touch on those topics but through others' materials. So that's when I turned to plays and adaptations of novels and so on.
Amazing. And now we arrive at Aniara, and hopefully everyone will come and see it.
Yes.
And, enjoy it. I do believe I have taken enough of your time now at the end of a long and intense day. So I'm just going to thank you so much for joining me and being so generous with your thoughts and revealing the kind of inner working process behind the production. So yeah, thank you so much, Carl, for joining me.
Thank you so much, Kit. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's it for DancePod this time. I hope you'll come and catch Aniara, which is premiering on the 18th of October, or just catch us on the podcast next time as we talk to more choreographers and creative teams. Thank you so much and have a good night.